Hi, Virgo. Um, Someone is experiencing level of feeling for you that they've never felt for anyone else. And the intensity of it is simultaneously terrifying and exhilarating them. They've been trying to manage it, contain it, keep it at reasonable level so they don't overwhelm you or expose themselves to vulnerability they're not sure they can handle. But management is failing. Containment is breaking down. And they're approaching the point where holding back becomes more painful than the risk of showing you the full magnitude of what they feel. Uh, this isn't casual interest. This isn't, I like you and think we could be good together. This is all consuming. This is thinking about you first thing when they wake up and last thing before they sleep. This is every song reminding them of you. This is making decisions based on how those decisions might affect their proximity to you. This is being fundamentally reorganized around the fact of your existence in their world. And they know how that sounds. They know it's intense. They know people are supposed to play it cool, maintain mystery, not put all their cards on the table too soon. They know they should be protecting themselves more, revealing less, keeping some distance as insurance against potential rejection, but they can't. Not anymore, because what they feel is too big to keep performing casual around. Let me describe what love at this intensity actually looks like when someone's trying unsuccessfully to hide it. You might notice them watching you when they think you're not looking. Their attention on you is constant, even when they're trying to appear focused elsewhere. They track your movements, your expressions, your interactions with others, not in creepy surveillance way, but in I'm magnetically drawn to you and can't help observing way. Or you might notice how they light up when you enter spaces they're in. Their whole energy shifts. They become more animated, more present, more alive. Even if they're trying to play it cool, their body betrays them through posture changes, smile they can't quite suppress, way their attention immediately orients toward you. Or you might notice inconsistencies between what they say and what they do. They might claim they're fine with casual, that they're not looking for anything serious, that they're keeping their options open, but their behavior tells different story. They make time for you that they don't make for others. They remember details that casual people don't remember. They show up in ways that exceed what just friends or keeping it light would require. Some people are skilled at verbal deflection but terrible at behavioral control. Their words say one thing while their actions scream something completely different. And if you've been confused by mixed signals, it's probably because they're trying to protect themselves by saying they don't care as much as they do, while simultaneously being unable to actually act like they don't care. Let's pause here. This reflection invites you to consider whose behavior toward you exceeds what their words claim they feel. Maybe someone who insists you're just friends, but who gets noticeably bothered when you mention dating other people, who finds reasons to text you constantly, who shows up to things they wouldn't normally attend because you'll be there, who remembers your schedule better than you do and somehow always seems available when you need something. That's not friendship. That's someone in love pretending to be casual because they're terrified of scaring you off by revealing the depth. Or maybe someone who claims they're not ready for a relationship but who treats you exactly like partner in every way except title. who's integrated you into their life, introduced you to important people, included you in future plans, shows you consistent care and attention that exceeds what undefined situationship warrants. That's not someone who's unavailable. That's someone who's committed but calling it something else because admitting commitment feels too vulnerable before they know you feel the same way. This reflection invites you to consider if someone's actions revealed their true feelings without their permission, what would those actions be saying? There's something specific about the phrase, never seen someone so in love with you, that needs unpacking. Because it's not just about them being in love, it's about the degree being unprecedented, even for them. They might have loved before, might have had serious relationships, deep connections, people they cared about genuinely. But this is different. This is operating at frequency they didn't know existed. This is feeling things they didn't know they were capable of feeling. And that newness is part of what makes it scary. They have no reference point for this, no prior experience to draw on that tells them how to navigate feelings this intense. They're in uncharted territory and they're trying to figure out if what they're experiencing is sustainable love or just overwhelming infatuation that will burn out once novelty fades. But here's what makes this actual love rather than just intense attraction. It's not just about how you make them feel, it's about who you are. They're not in love with idea of you or fantasy version they've constructed. They're in love with actual you, your flaws included, your complications observed, your humanity witnessed and accepted and cherished. They've seen you at your worst, and it didn't diminish what they feel. They've seen you stressed, tired, difficult, human, and instead of disillusionment setting in the way it does when people fall for fantasy and meet reality, they just loved you more because your realness made you more accessible, more knowable, more actually theirs, rather than some perfect, untouchable ideal. That's how you know this isn't just infatuation. Infatuation dies when perfection cracks. Real love deepens when imperfection reveals itself, because imperfection is what makes connection possible. You can't truly connect with perfection, you can only worship it from distance. But you can connect with human, and they're connecting with your human in ways that are rewiring how they understand what love can be. There's something about why they've been holding back that matters, because understanding their resistance helps you understand why its ending is significant. They might have been holding back because they've been hurt before, deeply, significantly, in ways that taught them that being first to confess love is being first to hand someone power to destroy you. So they learned to wait, to let the other person speak first, to protect themselves by never being more invested than the other person appears to be. But with you, that protection strategy is failing. They can't maintain emotional distance, can't keep their investment level with yours if yours is lower, can't protect themselves through withholding because what they feel is too big to withhold successfully, or they've been holding back because they're afraid of not being enough. They see you as somehow above them, more attractive, more successful, more together, more valuable in the dating marketplace. And they've convinced themselves that if you knew the full extent of what they feel, you'd be turned off by their desperation, their neediness, their pedestalization of you. But that fear is usually unfounded. Most people aren't turned off by being genuinely loved by someone they're attracted to. They're turned off by obsession from people they're not interested in, or by love bombing from people they don't know. But when there's mutual attraction and they actually know you and they love you anyway, that's not a turnoff. That's a gift. Or they've been holding back because societal messaging told them to play hard to get, don't seem too eager, make them chase, wait 3 days to text back, don't be the first to say I love you. All those rules that are supposed to make you more desirable, but actually just make authentic connection harder to build. And they've been trying to follow those rules even though their heart wants to violate all of them. They've been forcing themselves to wait to respond to your texts, to act less interested than they are, to perform casualness that's the opposite of what they feel. And it's been exhausting. And increasingly, they're realizing that playing games is costing them intimacy with you, that they actually want more than they want to appear cool. This reflection invites you to consider what fear or conditioning might be keeping someone from showing you how they really feel. Let me address what divine intervention means in this context, because it's not about literal deity controlling someone's actions. It's about circumstances aligning in ways that force the revelation that person has been avoiding making voluntarily. It's life creating situation where they can't hide anymore, where the truth comes out whether they're ready or not. Maybe something happens that makes hiding impossible. You're in situation together where emotions run high, crisis, celebration, intense experience, and in that heightened state, their feelings spill out before their filters can catch them. They say something they didn't plan to say, touch you in ways that reveal more than casual friendship, look at you with everything they feel written across their face. Or someone else forces the issue. Mutual friend who's tired of watching them pine calls them out publicly. Or someone else expresses interest in you and their jealousy becomes too obvious to deny. Or they're put in position where they have to either claim you or watch you slip away, and the prospect of losing you outweighs the fear of confessing. Or they reach internal breaking point where hiding becomes more painful than exposure, where performing just friends while feeling everything creates so much dissonance they can't sustain it anymore, where they realize that not telling you means potentially missing out on relationship they desperately want because you don't know it's available. Some people need to hit that breaking point before they can be honest, need the pain of suppression to exceed the fear of rejection, need to get so exhausted from managing their feelings that confession becomes relief rather than risk. And external circumstances, divine intervention, if you want to call it that, often provide the final push that tips them from I should keep hiding to I have to tell them even if it destroys everything. This reflection invites you to consider what situation might force someone to finally reveal what they've been hiding about how they feel about you. There's something about what you might need to do when this confession comes, because receiving someone's overwhelming love is its own skill that many people lack practice with. You might be tempted to minimize or deflect or make light of it if intensity makes you uncomfortable. To say, you don't really feel that way, or you'll get over it, or you barely know me, as ways of softening the vulnerability they're showing you. But minimizing their feelings when they're being brave enough to share them is form of cruelty, even if you don't mean it that way. Even if you're trying to make it less awkward or give them an out or protect them from embarrassment, if you don't feel the same way, you can say that clearly and kindly without diminishing what they feel. I care about you, but I don't feel the same way romantically, is honest and respectful. You don't really love me, you're just infatuated, is dismissive and presumptuous. You don't get to tell them what they feel. If you do feel the same way or you're open to exploring whether you could, don't play it cool just because they're being vulnerable. Don't make them twist in the wind while you perform indifference you don't feel. Match their honesty with your own. Tell them what you feel, even if it's, I don't know yet, but I want to find out. Or, I've been hoping you'd say something. And if you need time to process before you respond, say that. This is a lot and I need time to think. Can we talk tomorrow? Is infinitely better than either fake enthusiasm or cruel rejection delivered in shock. The worst thing you can do is treat their confession as joke, as burden, or as leverage you now have over them. Their vulnerability is gift. Handle it carefully, regardless of whether you can reciprocate the feelings behind it. This reflection invites you to consider, if someone confessed intense love for you, would your first instinct be to match it, deflect it, or need time to process it? Let me describe what might happen after they finally stop holding back, because confession doesn't resolve everything, it just changes the terms. If you reciprocate, if you've been feeling similarly and waiting for them to speak first, then confession becomes beginning. Everything shifts from undefined to defined, from wondering to knowing, from possibility to actuality. And that shift creates both relief and terror. Relief that you're finally on same page, terror about what happens now that everything's out in the open and you have to actually build something instead of just existing in potential. You'll have to navigate the vulnerability of being genuinely wanted by someone you genuinely want, of having something real to lose instead of just keeping things casual enough that loss doesn't hurt, of showing up consistently for relationship instead of just enjoying chemistry without responsibility. Some people discover they prefer the chase to the catch. They like the intensity of pursuit but lose interest once reciprocation removes the challenge. If this person is that type, the confession will be peak and everything after will be decline as they slowly realize they wanted the wanting more than they wanted the having. But if they're not that type, if their love is genuine and sustainable rather than just thrill seeking, then confession becomes foundation. The vulnerability they showed becomes trust you build on. The feelings they revealed become commitment you both honor through choosing each other actively instead of just falling together passively. Or if you don't reciprocate, confession becomes ending, not necessarily of all connection, but of the dynamic as it existed. They can't unknow that you don't feel the same. Can't return to friendship that was really them hoping for more while you enjoyed their company without romantic interest. Some friendships survive unrequited confession, others don't, and that's okay. It's not failure on either person's part. It's just reality that asymmetrical feelings create asymmetrical experiences that make continued closeness painful for one or both people. If they confess and you can't reciprocate, and you value them enough to want to preserve some form of connection, you'll both need space first. Time for them to grieve what they wanted and adjust to what's actually available. Time for you to not feel guilty about not feeling what they feel. Then maybe you can rebuild something platonic. But maybe not, and that has to be okay too. You remain in complete control of how you respond when someone reveals they're in love with you. You can reciprocate or not, accept or decline, explore or protect yourself. All valid, all your right. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has brought someone specific to mind. Maybe someone you've suspected has deeper feelings than they show. Maybe someone you've been hoping would finally speak. Maybe someone whose confession you'd welcome, or someone whose confession you'd dread. Whatever you're feeling, honor it. Take what resonates, softly release the rest, trust yourself. Before we close, I want to ask you something. If someone told you they'd never loved anyone the way they love you, would that feel like beautiful declaration or overwhelming pressure? Drop your honest response in the comments. And this, have you ever been the person holding back intense feelings and what finally made you speak or what made you keep hiding? Never seen someone so in love with you, done holding back, divine intervention. And when they finally tell you, when the words or the actions or the circumstances force the truth into open, you're going to have to decide what you want to do with the gift of being loved this intensely by this specific person. Not eventually, very soon. The holding back is ending. Trust yourself with this trust that you'll know how to respond when the moment comes. Trust that someone loving you doesn't obligate you to love them back, but it does deserve your honest response. Trust that this intensity, if it's real and if it's mutual, could be the beginning of something extraordinary or the clarity that allows you both to move on to what's actually right. See you in the next one. And listen, being loved deeply is rare. If someone's brave enough to show you that level of feeling, honor it with honesty, even if your honesty is that you don't feel the same way. Stay open, stay honest, stay kind. Someone's about to show you their whole heart. Handle it carefully. Take care.